DubtownRob, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it.
Yep. Of course. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't just fucking had to reorganize some stuff to make sure that I got this right. All right. So reintroduction, DubtownRob. Let me know if I know I'm probably going to miss something. Okay. You are an artist. You are an MC. You are a graphic designer. You are a, hold on. You're a podcaster. You review music.
Yeah.
And you are a producer and engineer.
Yeah.
Is there anything I'm missing? Businessman, of course, entrepreneur.
Thank you. I'm a father, bro. Yeah, I'm a father.
I not forget the most important one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a father.
You're a father. How old is your child, if you don't mind asking?
She's 6.
6 years old.
Yeah, she's 6. Yeah.
Man, I'm outside of the father because I know that's going to be the answer.
Yeah.
What if you can only pick one of those things that fills your soul the most? Which one of those fills your soul the most?
Creating.
Just creating in general.
Creating in general, bro. Whether it be, look, I edit videos, you know what I'm saying? Graphic design, just all type of music production. Now I'm like moving into the AI. A lot of people are like, nah, fuck AI. We don't fuck with AI. But bro, if you're not, we talked about this a little bit ago, like the internet moves fast, right? Our whole world moves fast. And if we don't stay on top of what's in our world, then we get left behind, you know what I'm saying? And
Facts.
So, you know, we don't have to implement it to the point of like we're making whole records with AI or anything like that. But we could utilize AI to our advantage. I mean, we're one man bands, you know what I'm saying? So who else is gonna do it?
That's a fact, man. I gotta chime in on that. What we like to do in the show is we like to go through not only a bunch of different topics, but we like to go through a timeline where how did we get to this point?
Yeah.
But we stumbled on a very great topic, and I gotta touch on that point. For anybody out there that's like, man, fuck AI, I want you to point to any big company right now. At one point, when they were coming up, before somebody bought stock, they said, man, fuck Amazon. Man, fuck Apple. And guess what? Now those same people, when they hear the stock price, oh, if you would have bought when they were 3 cents, you'd be a multimillionaire by now. They start thinking, damn, I wish I can go back in time. No, back in time, you said, fuck this and fuck that.
Yeah.
AI is that thing right now.
Yeah.
And to your point about everything's about integrity.
Yeah.
Everything's about integrity. How are you using the thing? It's one thing if you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to use AI to completely make a song, the instrumental and the vocalist. But imagine like a guy like me, I can't sing, bro. I can rap, I can't sing.
Right.
I was like, man, I could really use a singer right here.
Yeah.
So I hit up my local singer who's got the same amount of followers as me. And like, oh yeah, I charge $1,000 for features.
Yeah.
Okay, your business is your business. I'm not going to just give you $1,000, okay?
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be a diva.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sing into this machine and it's going to sound like AI.
Yeah.
Is that unethical? It could be, but if you don't have $1,000 to spend on a feature and an engineer, because that's not including an engineer.
Right.
Why not try to figure it out yourself?
Exactly.
So what do you think? How are you using AI?
In the same way, bro. In the same way, you know, if an artist if an artist needs a singer, right, and we don't have a singer for them, boom, we got one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or as far as when engineering goes, using AI and different algorithms to make sure everything sounds right sonically. That's all AI, bro. It's all artificial intelligence running through the program, and making sure that everything sounds on point and tight. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny. I understand people's dislike for AI in the sense of it could take people's jobs.
Yeah.
I understand that. I have empathy for that. But put it this way. Do you remember when we were kids, they used to have the alarm clock was a rooster, right?
Yeah.
Do we feel bad for the rooster that we eventually replaced that with an alarm clock? Like, put it this way. We used to be able to wake up on our own well before clocks were ever invented.
Right.
Now we need a machine to do that.
Yeah.
And before we had our phones, we had a literal clock that once it hit a certain mark, it goes beep, 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 beep. So it's something, what I'm getting at, the root of it, it's something that made your job a little, or your life a little bit easier. Yep. That's all any of this shit is. A fridge, your phone.
Exactly. And everything has a season, I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everything has a season. For us as humans, you know what I mean? We have a season. To objects that we use on a daily, they have seasons, like as far as like the alarm clock, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We phase that out. Some people still do use them. But, you know what I mean? I use my phone. You know what I mean? I use my phone. I have my phone set up, and it like, you know, you put it on the side, and it's an alarm clock. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's how I use mine. So, you know, I think everything has a season, bro, and eventually shit's going to be phased out.
Or evolve.
Yeah. Right? But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and use a Macintosh from fucking 1989, and I'm trying to mix and master a project from 2026, bro. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work.
It's not going to happen. Like, what do people think auto-tune is? Right? You could not hit that key on your own. That's fine. Yeah. Right? You have the talent. You have the heart. Yeah. But you just can't get that one note. Bro, here's auto-tune. Yep. Auto-tune is not going to fix a guy like me, right? Right. I'm going to sound like a whale, right? Gasping for air. Yeah. I don't even know if they have a sound like that. But yeah, we could go down that rabbit hole for days, bro. I got a tinfoil hat right off.
That's right. That's right.
We're here to talk about your journey, how you got to this point, man. Yeah. When I met you, you were emceeing a show over in Cieno Studios in Merced. Shout out Cieno. Shout out everybody out in Merced doing their thing. I was like, man, like this guy has a very good like presence, right? And then I found out, oh yeah, this is the guy who engineers, he masters and mixes all of our stuff. And then I found out, oh yeah, he himself is an artist. And when I saw you perform, you brought a whole band, right? You brought a live band. I have to know, does it feel heavy having to carry all those responsibilities, being a father, being a one-man show? Like, does that feel heavy?
Yeah, it does sometimes. Because, you know, okay, it does feel heavy, right? But I can't let that beat me down because this is what I signed up for. Right. You know what I'm saying? This is what I wanted. And this is what I created for myself. So if I didn't want it, I would have never created it for myself. You know what I mean?
I respect that.
And so I can't complain about the responsibility or the presence.
Glow. Yeah,
the presence that I have now, right? When this is something that I essentially made.
Work for, yeah.
You know I mean, yeah.
You manifested. So let's go. You said this is something that you signed up for. Let's go back to the day you signed up for, okay? Yeah. Walk me through the moment in your life when you said, oh, I'm creative. How old were you?
Shit, since a kid, bro. Since like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? I was like, I remember I used to have like a cassette player, and it was one of the Fisher Price ones where it had a little microphone on it, and then you would play and you could like sing along to the music. I remember those, shit. Bro. Yeah, I had that, bro, and I would do that. And then it got to the point where then I started, let me try to record my own little shows. So I would take cassettes and I would press record and I would like be like a DJ, like, okay, next up, this is the song that we're gonna get into, and then like on the cassette it would have that song. Like I would just, just stupid kid shit, right? And,
right.
And then after that, like the whole the whole transition into becoming an artist, I lost my grandfather in
sorry to hear that.
Thank you, bro. In 2004, and he raised me. He was a father to me, and so it really affected me. And I didn't know. Like I'm 13. I just turned 14 that July, and I had so many different emotions. Like all my shit was like I was going crazy, bro. And I didn't realize, like I didn't know what I was feeling, and so I started writing. I started writing poetry. And like I just wanted to get all my whatever I had in me, I wanted to get it out.
All your feelings out.
Yeah, I wanted to get it out. So I had when I was in the 7th grade, I had a math teacher. His name was Mr. Taylor, Dennis Taylor. And he seen my poetry. He was like, yo, I got to speak to you. You know what I mean? After class. So he pulled me after class.
Wait, how do you see your poetry?
Well, this is what happened.
Got you.
So he pulled me after class and he's like, you're great when it comes to like discussion and like answering questions, and you really know what you know what I mean, what we're talking about, what the lesson's about. He's like, but you're not turning in no homework. And every time I give you an assignment, it's like you're not doing it. Like, what's going on? What are you doing during class? And I was like, well, this. You know what I mean? And I gave him the poetry, and he's like, this is really profound. Like he I didn't know this. He was a poet himself, a published poet.
Oh shit!
And so he was like, I love this. He was like, I want to get you published.
Damn.
And so in 2005, I was able to get published in a book of poetry that was on like a bestsellers list or some shit like that. I really didn't have the resources like or the funds available to like buy a copy of it or anything like that. Like, it was real cool. I got a certificate, and that really
that's amazing, bro.
That really made me proud. You know what I mean?
Around how old were you?
I was 14.
14.
Yeah.
That must have been a pivotal moment where you said, I gotta go for this.
Yeah, it was. And then from there, I just started like just making raps. I gotta
If I could ask real quick before you continue that, my apologies. Why rap? Because I mean, you could have picked a different genre, right?
Yeah.
So like, what spoke to you about hip hop or rap?
I just love the culture, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Tupac was my biggest inspiration, you know. But when it comes to music in general, Selena's my biggest inspiration when it came to music in general, bro. Like, just crafting music, and just like hearing her music, hearing her songs. But my grandpa, he was an avid jazz listener. My grandma, she listened to like boleros and stuff like that, like when she'd be cleaning the house, you know what I'm saying? And she would have a record player on with music. And so music was just always very, very
present
essential
in your life.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Something that I held closely. And a lot of memories are attached to the music, right? So, but you know, when I evolved and I was like, yeah, Selena's cool, you know what I mean? But that's like, you know, I listen to Selena, I like Selena, but I wanna come into something a little bit more that I identify with. And so I was 5, and I bought Me Against the World, a cassette.
Okay.
Right? And I'm on my way to LA. It was my mom and my cousin and myself. And, you know, my older cousins too, listening to rap, Master P and stuff like that. And like just all kinds of cool stuff. And I looked to them. I didn't have no brothers. So I looked to my older cousins, you know what I mean? For that. And so just hearing that rap, and then, I bought the Me Against the World tape, and my mom thought it was the clean version. Right? So we threw it on, and you know what I'm saying? It was Pac, so it was like real grimy. That's my favorite album, bro.
Very raw.
Favorite album.
Very
before
raw.
Death Row. Like, it just I could go on and on about that.
Of course.
But
yeah,
that was the pivotal moment where I said, yo, I could do this shit. Like, I have something to say, you know what I mean?
Right. So then you fast forward to after your math teacher finds your poetry.
Yeah.
And you said, okay, like you want to start rapping. So my bad, we cut you off at that story.
Yeah. So I wanted to start. You know, I just, like I said, like I had always realized that I had something to say, and so, you know, I just started writing. And I forgot how the beats came about. If I can remember, I think I had a beat CD that somebody gave me.
Okay.
And I would just listen to those and write raps to those. And then one of my first things ever recorded, I used a PlayStation 2 headset mic, and I put it to the TV, and the TV was playing the beat.
And so you were rapping.
I was rapping directly into the mic while the beat was coming off the TV.
Oh my God.
And so yeah, it was like really like archaic type shit.
Bro, you really needed to get yourself out. That's actually the second person. You're the second person that I've heard rap through a headset. Yeah. Like, we just got to get it done. Yeah. I respect that. That shows that you really wanted to do that, right? Yeah. So you started, what I'm hearing is you started as an artist first, right? So how long do you go from, now we're talking 14, how long do you go until you start introducing, like, I guess, the more business side to it?
Well, my brother's pivotal, right? My brother Danny, he was always pivotal, like in that. Like we were at his house doing those recordings off the PS2 mic,
Right.
And I think like I want to say probably like 16, 17. Like I had music, I had upgraded. Obviously, I had upgraded. I went and bought another mic, a better mic, and like just started like taking myself a little bit more seriously. And I started like doing shows and stuff like that. There's a club. If you're from Merced, you know La Cascada. It's a club in Merced.
Okay.
It's on Santa Fe, and it's 21 and over, right? So, I wasn't even supposed to be able to be in there performing, but you know, I knew the guy that owned it, and you know, I made connections with the people that were there, and so they let me in at like 17, 18 to start performing shows.
Yeah.
But when like as far as the business, and that's where the whole business aspect came into it, because you know, I needed album covers, you know, I needed somebody to mix my music, I needed you know, merch. And I didn't have nobody to do it for me. Now, okay, let me back up. I had plenty of people to do it, but I didn't have no money. I was broke. You know what I'm saying? Like broke. So I'm like, the only way that I'm gonna get this done is to do it myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Entrepreneur mindset since you were 18 or even younger.
Younger. Yeah. Younger than that. Because I always knew that I had the ability to do it. My shit is like real jumbled up because I have
so much life.
Yeah, I have the thing that happened, bro, is I have a lot of loss in my life. And so that loss, like,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. That loss really affected me. Like it jumbles my memory. Like shit is like, it's crazy.
I get you.
So I'm 14. I'm 14. I lose my grandfather. I started doing the writing. In that, I move to Santa Rosa. So I'm born and raised in Winton, California, bro.
In Winton, you said?
Yeah, Winton.
Okay.
And it's a really small town. And that's where my name comes from, DubtownRob. Like that's
I was gonna ask that later. Like, where did DubtownRob come from? But okay, so yeah. Winton, got you.
So Winton, California, bro. That's you know, it's got a negative reputation as far as like gangs and stuff like that. But you know, I wanted to bring something different to the table. Like, you know, I respect that culture. You know what I mean? I respect that culture. But I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be in a different lane. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's kind of the path that I paved. But anyway, my grandfather passed away. I moved to Santa Rosa. My mom, we didn't have money, bro. We were broke. We were paying like, at the time in 2004, we were paying like $800 for a small studio apartment in downtown Santa Rosa.
Damn.
And my mom's on welfare, and you know, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So for Christmas, I don't know how she did. I don't know how my mom did any of the shit that she did, bro. To be real with you.
Well, because moms be superheroes.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
For real.
She went out, she bought me a laptop, my first laptop ever. And I just started cooking, bro. Like at that point, I was like
nonstop.
Yeah, I just started cooking, bro. Like I had a little pantry in the apartment, and I like decked it out with like a bunch of like egg crates and shit.
Oh, I was gonna say the OG panels. Yeah.
And so I did all that, and then I just started cooking, and my mic was before when like at 17 I had upgraded my shit, but I was 14 and I had it was a fucking like a computer microphone, you know what I mean? And I was recording off that. And so, but the beat, it was better because the beats were like in the program, you know what I mean? I had a program, I was using a program called Mixpad.
Okay.
And you would lay the beat on and then just record the vocals over it. And so it was dope. Like I was like, shit, I'm in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm making music, and then on the internet, on MySpace, like I started like putting my music out there and like pushing it. And so people, you know what I mean, back home were like fucking with it. You know what I mean? But I was miles and miles away.
Right.
But they started fucking with it. And then I would drop mixtapes on DatPiff. I would upload mixtapes onto DatPiff, and then people would just go and download them or stream them, whatever.
I remember the DatPiff, Brian.
Yeah. And that was like the foundation, bro.
Right.
Like moving. And then
Real quick, if I could ask you, those early days when you got that laptop, you started making music, what was the early content of your music? Like, what were you talking about?
just everything that I had been through up until that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Struggling, just losing my grandpa.
Loss.
Yeah, loss. You know,
The grind, I'm sure.
the grind, bro.
Yeah.
Just the struggle, bro. Like it was tough. You know what I mean? And so that's what I really put into my music, and I really made it a point to, like, you know, I really made it a point to convey that. You know what I mean? Because at the time, there's like Chicano rappers, bro. Like,
Right.
like, you know, gangster rap for us, bro. Like how we look. You know what I'm saying? Like how we look. We're Latinos, bro. We're Mexicanos, bro. And we don't have we didn't have that representation.
Right. Well, that was our only representation, right?
Yeah, that was our only representation.
They boxed us in hard.
Yeah. And so I didn't wanna go that lane. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to do something else. I wanted to do something different, like I was saying. And so that's what I rapped about. I rapped about my pain. I rapped about my struggle. And then, you know, on the flip side of that, I'd rap about my, you know, when be talking to a girl, whatever, and have that love. You know what I mean? And I rapped about my love that I had, or you know, just myself, and be real vulnerable. I've never been afraid to be vulnerable about who I am and what I've done.
In my opinion, the best artists are vulnerable in their art, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we can make slaps all day, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. I love like a great club banger. I love something I can work out to, but there's something to be said about the moments where I feel like my lowest, or where we feel our lowest, right? We need someone to let us know, an artist to let us know, like, you're not alone in this feeling, you know? So I appreciate that you said you got vulnerable in your music as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said, so now bringing you back to your story, you said you're on the DatPiff grind, people back home were messing with it, right? So around what time, was this after your performance at that 21 Up Club or before?
This was before. This was before, yeah, this was before. So then, after that, we were there in Santa Rosa. I went to high school there, and then in 2017, not 2017, I'm tripping, 2007, when I was 17, we had moved back and went back to Winton, and then I had already built that little buzz, right? So I just kept pushing that line. And then I had came in a little bit of money, so that's when I upgraded my shit, upgraded my mic, you know, and just I upgraded my recording program that I used. I started with Reaper, and I've been using Reaper ever since. And Reaper is the shit. If you guys don't know what Reaper is, go check that shit out.
Trust me, yeah.
That shit is dope. Pro Tools and all that shit is dope, but it doesn't matter what program you're recording with. It matters how you utilize it. Right. It matters what it does for you.
Bro, I use Adobe Audition, and every time I have someone come in, like, I've never seen somebody use Audition
is dope too.
Yeah.
I've used that too. Yeah. Yeah, it's about what we could do with it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started with that, used that.
You're chilling, bro.
and yeah, that's where I went from there, bro. And then I started doing shows, and just lining myself up.
Real quick, before we get into the shows, what I gotta know is, look, because I started making music when I was 14. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that it took somebody else, like a homie I had who was very outspoken, to like put me out there. What made you put yourself out there? Because it sounded like you were just solo, like you've been doing everything yourself. That first show you ever did, how did you land that?
I went and talked, bro. I went and talked to the people.
Okay.
I've never been afraid to go up and talk to somebody.
Never been shy.
An opportunity, nah. Okay. Never. You know,
interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself, you know, like reserved. I'm not like real out there with it. You know what I mean? And like,
right.
I don't put myself out there in that certain way. But I'm not gonna hesitate in going to make sure business is correct.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I went and did that, and I did that myself. You know what I'm saying?
And then one thing led to another. It was a domino effect. Okay. Got it. So now you said you were making music, you started doing shows. My apologies. So continue.
Just started doing shows, man, and then it just started snowballing. Just started doing other shows and went to LA, did a lot of shows, and that was like 18, 19. And then making music, doing shows. And then when I was so 18, 19, I'm making music, I'm doing hella shows, 18, 19, 20, and when I was 21, that's when like it really started popping, because now I'm getting into clubs, right? Before I was like having to do like little pizza joints and shit and like little arcade shows. And I was up in Modesto doing shows too.
Okay.
And I used to fuck with a company called Afton Live. I don't even know if they exist anymore, but they used to put me on for shows and shit like that.
Right.
And then when I was 21, and then the floodgates just opened. Then I started going everywhere, doing hella shows. And then in 2022, I got hit again. You know what I'm saying? I lost my mom in 2020. I mean, not in 2022. When I was 22. Oh. So in 2012.
I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Thank you, bro. So I lost my mom. So that kind of set me back a little bit. You know what I mean?
I bet, bro.
And that like sent the music in another direction. You know what I mean? Before I was doing shows, so I was focusing on more uplifting music, upbeat music to get people moving. And then when I lost my mom, the music kind of just went to a downturn, like as far as like the content of it. And
I'm sorry to hear that you lost your mom.
Thank you, bro.
I mean, because not to press on the wound, but like you said, you don't know how she did it when you guys were living in a studio apartment and she got you a laptop. Yeah. Right. Like this is a superhero. Yeah. Right. So like that, I could imagine that not just the content of your lyrics, but probably your life. Yeah. I'm sure your life probably like took a hit as well, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It did. And then my content slowed down, my creation slowed down, everything kind of slowed down after that. I wasn't really focusing on, making music. I was trying, but it just wasn't coming the way it should. So that was for like probably like 8 months. I was just out of it. Mm-hmm. And then
was anybody pressing you during those 8 months? Like, yo, when you're going to get back into music? Because sometimes not everyone's so empathetic. So you said, someone.
A lot of people were. Yeah. A lot of people were. Like, man, you got to keep going with it. Not really like when you're going to get back into it, but like keep going. You know what I mean? Keep going. We know you lost your mom, but like, and we're sorry about that, but just don't let that stop you. You know what I mean? Keep moving. So in 2012, I did the Pacoima Christmas Parade, and I dedicated that show to my mom. And, just being down there in LA, just networking and just, really pushing that line. And I seen that people were fucking with my music. You know what I mean? So I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep that wave, right?
That energy, yeah.
Yeah. And so 2013, I link up with a band. I link up with a gentleman by the name of Mario Benitez, Mario B. And Mario B came in my life and changed my life completely. He had been wanting to record with me for quite some time, and I didn't know him, and so I was a little hesitant. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't really know him like that, and I don't know nobody that knows him to kind of get like a background, like who he is, like what's he about. And so like I'm real selective, you know what I mean, about people that I involve myself with.
That you choose to work with.
Yeah. And so I was on an app called Voxer. I don't know if you remember it.
I've heard it. Yeah.
So he hit me on Voxer, like he found me, and he was like, "Hey Rob, this is Mario. Well, I seen him in Ross, bro. I was in Ross. I seen him in Ross, and I'm like, he's like, hey, Rob, he just came up to me and he was like, hey, I like your music. You know what I mean? I've been wanting to record with you. And I was like, yeah, I seen that. And he's like, I'm like, hit me up on Voxer, bro. So he found me on Voxer. He hit me up and he's like, hey, why don't you come over to my house and I want to record. So I met Mario B, right? Right. And I linked with him on Voxer. And then, we linked up, we laid some music down, and it's like we kind of related to each other in that way, right? Right. creatives, you know what I mean? Having a story to tell, having something to say. And we linked up with his cousin, and they had already had their thing going called Stubborn Productions.
Okay.
And so he invited me. Like, he's like, "Hey, do you want to join?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" You know what I mean? I've never done it before. I'm struggling to kind of output my own music, and I like the vibe. You guys are really creative, and it's positive music. It's not talking about like shit that I don't align myself with.
Right.
And so I like that. You know what I mean? Let's do it. So it really, like, that really boosted me up more. You know what I mean? I'm coming off losing my mom, and I'm looking for something to fuel me, and that's what did it. And then I joined Stubborn. And Mario's a go-getter. He's active in all kinds of ways.
Right.
And so he's like, "Yo, let's do it." We did this track called Smile, and he's like, "Let's go film a video for it in LA." And I'm like, "Okay, it's probably gonna take a couple weeks, whatever." Bro, like, that weekend we were in LA, we're filming the video for the Smile track.
Oh, damn.
Like, he was really about it. What he said he would do, we would do it.
Followed through.
Yeah, he followed through.
Yeah.
And so we did that. I was with Stubborn for 2 years.
2 years.
And in those 2 years, man, we opened up for countless artists, bro. Like, we were in LA. We actually got offered a record deal with Universal Music Group.
Oh, damn.
So we had $100,000 on the table. But it didn't pan out that way. You know what I'm saying? Mario, you know what I mean? Him being the creator of Stubborn, he kind of made that creative decision to not pursue that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know why. And I asked him, and he's like, "It's just not the time." You know what I mean? And we couldn't really put our heads around around what was going on.
Right.
And then, you know, I don't really want to discuss what happened after that, but there was just a lot that happened that we kind of seemed like this is why that didn't happen the way it should happen. So
you you chose to move forward, and both of you chose to move forward in different directions.
Yeah, but we were sponsored by 5150 Energy Drink, bro. We were doing shows with them and for them.
A lot of motion.
We're getting free merch and like free energy drinks all day. Mm-hmm. It was dope. It was.
You know, this isn't the show where I say, "Oh, so tell me what happened." But I will say, as a person, I do like to know how people feel about something. So to have that kind of motion, and then you guys go your separate ways. What did that feel like the moment you said, "Okay, we're not doing this anymore"?
Another loss.
And
my life is, which I'm sure a lot of people, you know what I mean, feel this way, but my life has been plagued by loss in one form or another.
Right.
But I've always been resilient in getting it back.
I was going to say, how do you not lose yourself in, because I lost myself in like alcohol.
Yeah.
For things that I've been lost like this.
Yeah.
You know, so like, how did you stay so resilient?
I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with a little alcohol. You know what I mean? My stint with alcohol, like, I struggled with that. Like, after my mom died, it was balls to the wall, bro. You know what I mean? With that, in that realm. But, you know, losing family members, I lost my uncle right before I lost my mom. I lost my uncle to liver cirrhosis.
Oh my God!
And he was 48.
48.
And so
he's young.
Yeah, and so like those things stick with you, you know what I mean? And so every time I'm drinking, I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, this may not be the road I want to be on right now.
Gotta be careful.
You know what I mean? So I definitely tried to be as careful as possible with that. So I struggled with that. I struggled with that loss, and I struggled with that alcoholism for a brief period. And so, but I was able to come out of that. You know what I'm saying? I was able to make it out of that. You know what I mean? My belief in God is strong, and so I felt I leaned on that. And then just having the right people around me. My brother, another person that I consider my brother, his name is Arturo. He was a real big pillar in my life to have somebody to go to when I had a question or when I needed somebody to talk to or somebody to like really go in depth with. You know what I mean? And he was there for me. He's still there for me to this day.
Man.
And so,
how old were you when you guys separated? Not how old are you? Sorry. What year was that?
The year was 2015.
2015.
Yeah, 2015.
Man, so 2015. That's a whole decade ago.
Yeah, it's 10 years ago.
So walk us through the last 10 years, like from that moment to here.
The last 10 years. music output kind of slowed down after that a little bit. I tried to go back and get that sponsorship, but they were like, no, we don't want you. We want the group, so we can't. So I was like, damn, that kind of fucked me up a little bit. But I was like, you know what? It's all good. I created my own clothing line called Golden State Originals. With the help of my brother Art, and we created that together along with our other partner Anthony, and we formed that, and we just kept pushing the line on that. And I said, if I could go hard for music, I'm gonna go hard for this. I pushed the line on that. I got promoted by Prodigy of Mobb Deep, rest in peace. Before he passed away, he was
rest in peace.
They were rocking our clothing in San Francisco at a show that they did, and also the Dog Pound. We got promotion from them, and we also got promotion from Baby Bash. Baby Bash did some videos in our clothing line.
That's great.
So yeah, that was dope. So we had that run of the clothing line, and that went really well for a little while. And then, that kind of phased out. We talked about before, everything has phases, right? So that kind of phased out. But it's just keeping the brand, keeping the name relevant, right? DubtownRob presents Golden State Originals, right? So they know that it's DubtownRob's putting this together. So I'm not, just because I'm not doing music doesn't mean I'm not doing something creatively.
Of course.
Right?
And that is our industry, is to find different ways to make something happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we're at with that. And then after that, just started still doing music, still putting music out, like singles and stuff like that. And then was that 2015? I think we did that for like 2 years. And then from 2017 on, I got my relationship, right? And kind of focused on my priorities a little bit. My priorities kind of changed a little bit. And I was looking for something, long term. And so I was with my girl for 2 years. And then in 2019, I had my daughter.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you, bro. And so in that time, and actually in 2018, I was like, the clothing line is coming off, you know what I mean? Like phasing out a little bit. So how can I, stay relevant? So I said, okay, I'm going to do a live stream music review show. So I jumped online. I figured everything out. And I jumped online and I started doing music reviews. And I did music reviews from 2018 to 2024. 2024. Yeah.
Damn.
And so, and then it made an impact there. You know what I mean? In that time, I connected with Nvsty TV. Shout out to my boy Tones, and he runs that channel. You know what I mean? Really, really well, with a lot of subscribers. And he offered me me and my brother Danny a role. G-Dub, he offered us a role as host on his show to do a music review show for his artist that he just, displayed on his channel. So just staying relevant, just staying relevant. And then in that time, still engineering artists, recording other artists, filming videos for artists and editing the videos. Shout out my boy SG. He kind of like, he frontline that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yo, you know how to edit videos? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm good. So he went out, filmed the videos, shot me the footage. I started editing in them. And then, that was I'm in the mix with that and editing videos and engineering artists. And, fast forward to 2024, we didn't phase out Real One Radio. My priorities changed again.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I had to pivot and do something different. Things are changing. The economy's changing.
Right.
People's interests are changing. I started that in 2018 and it led through COVID. So in COVID, right, people were really tuned into the show. That's where I gained the subscribers. That's where I gained the watch time hours. People were fixated on something.
Locked in.
Yeah, locked in, bro. And held that momentum. And then, in 2024, kind of like took a break because we still want to get back with it. But since then, we've opened up a studio in Merced. Got into a location, something stable where we could call home, as far as our creativity goes, and just been trying to push that line, bro. Just still being creative, engineering a lot of people's projects. Shout out to Slober and crew, man.
Big shout out Slober and crew.
Yeah, shout out to Trav Murray as well. Aztec, Drew the Dragon, all the homies, right? All the whole circle comes to me for engineering, and I'm honored to be entrusted with that, because giving someone your craft, your creativity, your baby, right? That you're putting, you wrote your lyrics, you got your beat, all that shit. That's not easy. You know what I mean? And so I'm honored to be entrusted with that. I'm honored to be entrusted with that, bro.
Well, you know what, man? First of all, I haven't met Murray. Did you say Trav Murray?
Yeah.
Shout out Trav Murray. Shout out Aztec. Shout out Drew the Dragon. Man, shout out the whole 209 crew that I met, bro. So I met Nitty Gritty, and then from that point on, I met a whole bunch of different people, Slober and crew, yourself.
Shout out Ace Boogie, too.
Ace Boogie, Aztec, Drew the Dragon, man. I can go down the list. If I did not name you, I still got love for you.
All the homies, bro.
All the homies. I got to know, like, how'd you get involved with the 209 crew? They're not called the 209 crew. I just name that for everybody.
So Aztec, I was doing shows with Aztec. I was doing shows with Aztec when I was with Stubborn. So back in those days, those 2013, 2014 days, I was doing shows. We were doing shows at the warehouse, and you know what I mean, just fucking with Aztec. Never really did music.
Right. But performing alongside each other.
Yeah, but I was just so focused on Stubborn and trying to build that I wasn't doing music with anybody else.
Right.
And you know, and then later on, I don't know how that connection, you know, re-sparked or whatever, but with Slober and crew, I know that I can't really off the top of my head recall, but I remember they were going by a different name. They had different names. They were going by a different group name.
Yeah, it was like 2016.
And they came to me and they were like, you know, this is what we want to do. This is how we want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm always down to help. You know what I'm saying? I'm with that. So so we plugged and played, bro. And we put that shit together. Started making music, and then they were like, yo, can you engineer for us? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I did that. And then that's just been an ongoing thing ever since. You know what I mean? And I always try to put my best into their music, because those guys are phenomenal. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure their representation, their music represents that.
Absolutely.
With all the guys, man, with all the guys. But yeah, just to now, man, it's like, you know, meeting people like yourself. I'm blessed, bro. I really am. I'm really blessed to be able to be in a creative circle like this.
Man, I appreciate that you, first of all, named everybody that you named, but I appreciate that you're here on this show. I've heard nothing but great things about you, and every time that I see you, it's a different creative outlet. Like I said, the first time I saw you, you were hosting a show. Yeah. Second time I saw you, you were rapping with a live band, right? Yeah. That takes courage, man. So you said life has phases. I gotta know, what's the phase you're on now? What's next?
Man, the phase I'm on now is just grinding. You know what I mean? We got the studio up. I want to get Real One Radio back into play, start doing music reviews again, and also want to start having, you know what I mean, doing artist interviews. You know what I mean? Doing artist interviews and putting that in motion. You know what I mean? And I think that'll really be great. What's next? 2026 and forward. I don't know, man. You know, I kind of live life as it
quarter
comes.
mile at a time.
Quarter mile at a time. Yeah. Yep, for sure.
I heard it. I was like, I feel like that he's about to say it right now.
That's real shit. That's real shit. But I live life as it comes. You know what I mean? Whatever's thrown my way, let's do it. You know what I mean? And let's not do it lightweight. Let's put our all into it. You know what I mean? And see how far it could go.
Got you. It's funny you said music reviews, right? Before we go into the last segment, actually, because you call it slap or crap.
Yes, sir.
Right? Off the top of your head, how many have you given out, more slaps or more craps?
More craps.
More craps.
More craps. If you guys haven't watched the show, Real One Radio on YouTube, go check it out. We have a flush sound effect. It's my favorite. It's my favorite sound effect, bro. My favorite sound effect.
You gotta send that to me, bro.
We get artists. My primary viewership is like LA, but we get a lot of people from New York that send music in, and their shit is just garbage, bro. Like, no fucking, there's no other way for me to put it. It's trash.
Like, what? Hold on, but what's trash about it? Like the mixing,
the mix, just the content, the like. If you gonna submit your shit somewhere, make sure your shit is on par with artists that you look up to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or close, because it's not gonna be on par. They're using fucking top tier recording equipment and shit like that. But make sure it's a little close. You know what I mean? But if you need help, I'm an audio engineer, so let's work together.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And that's sort of the premise of that, right? Is okay, I have my clients, I have my local clients, but how can I expand my base of clients? I'm gonna do a music review show, and these people that are gonna send me music reviews, their music's probably not gonna be up to par, right? So they're gonna need an audio engineer, and boom, that's how I develop more clients. So it's always thinking ahead. You know what I mean? It's always thinking ahead on saying, okay, boom, if I do this, this is what I want to come out of it. You know what I mean? And I've always been that way.
Always been that way. So I'm gonna be brave, okay? I kind of want you to do a slap or crap right now for one of my songs.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're gonna take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna come back with the little remote in my hand. And you guys are gonna see on the screen the music video that I'm gonna play for him right now.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Rob, right here on the screen is a snippet I did for a song called Leave It All Behind. It's off my Birthday Boy Volume 30.
Okay.
On YouTube, it's called My Sleep Paralysis Steven Knows I Rap or Can Rap, something like that.
Okay.
I'm not going to give you any other explanation. You said you were in a bars mood.
Yeah.
This is the best bars that I have on YouTube that you haven't seen in mine yet. So let's go ahead and play it.
They still hold on to grudges, or they still hold on to opinions about him, about things he used to do back then.
This is Slap or Crap with DubtownRob.
Let's get it.
That he was better than what he thought he was.
Yeah, he made mistakes, but he owned them. He never let it take over his life, at least to where, he wasn't able to bounce back.
I lie awake at night, wondering if I'm gonna make it. Thinking about my life like, damn, did I waste it? I'm jumping off the bed half naked, heart racing. I've been running from the truth, now I gotta face it. I've been jogging in place since I was 14. I've been inconsistent when I'm trying to work toward dreams. Next thing I know, I'm 24, no Jack Bow. Same place I was at then, I am at now. With nobody I can blame but myself. Believe me, I try blaming everybody else, but it doesn't help, doesn't bring me any type of closure. Doesn't make me feel better saying that I told you. It's me against the world, but so what if it's true? Who gives a fuck about somebody who ain't fucking with you? You gotta understand, even though it's hard sometimes, the ones that you love most grow apart sometimes. They all growing up without you, happily and proud to. If you wasn't you, would you wanna be around you? Take a long look at yourself and face facts. Yeah, before you say something you can never take back. Are you ready for the blame? Are you ready for the pain? When they kill you for the truth, are you down to die in vain? I am. If that's the case, then it's time to go to war. I don't want the validation no more, so I guess I'm growing up.
The truth isn't always
fire so far. Fire so far.
Well, that was it.
Oh yeah.
The rest of it is just promo.
Bro. That's a slap. That's a slap.
I passed.
That's a definite slap.
Hell yeah.
So what we go off of, we did a battle of the bars, right, on our show.
Okay.
And we went off of, I don't remember them specifically, right? They might be wrong. But there was 5 things that we went off of, right? And one of them was creativity. You know what I mean? The mix got to be on point. Your wordplay's got to be fire. And just overall clarity of your music, right?
Right.
And there was one more that I can't think off the top of my head, but you hit all those points, bro.
Thank you.
You hit all those points in your music. And I feel like this record right here, that shit is dope.
Thank you.
Like,
I appreciate that.
That shit is fire. Just like everything that you're speaking on, is definitely relatable. You know what I mean? Everything that we just talked about right now, I felt like that was my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we were just talking
relatable,
about it, yeah.
bro. It's definitely relatable. So good shit.
It's a slap. I appreciate it.
It's a slap.
That was not a he did not hear that before. And the only reason I played my music because I felt like, what if I play one of yours and he ends up shitting on it and I didn't feel like.
And if I did, I mean, I did. I keep it real. It's real ones only. You know what I'm saying? And,
yes,
that's to get down.
I was prepared for anything I play. It's like, okay, if he says crap, I got to sit with it. You know who Wayno is?
Wayno, yeah.
Okay, so I submitted one of my songs, that remix, the Crazy Town remix I did. I submitted that to be played, bro. He was in there like pulling up job listings after artists where he played an artist song.
That's why
I was like, bro, I don't get nervous. That was the only time I'm like, bro, is he about to fucking say I should get a job? I already got a job.
Yeah.
Right. So he listened.
Joke's on you, Wayno. Joke's on you.
He listened to the whole thing and he's like, he can rap. It's a little corny, but he can rap. And I was just like, you know what? I'll take it. Corny's not even the worst thing I've ever been called.
See, I think that's the thing, man, is just music is so subjective. I love music like this. You know what I mean? Had it been another style of music that I'm not very
that's not your style.
Yeah, that I'm not very inclined to listen to on a daily, then maybe my reaction would have been a little bit different. I don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do know that the music that I've heard from you is consistent. And it's very well put together, bro, and very well versed. So
I appreciate
definitely,
it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
sure.
Tell the people where they can follow you at.
DubtownRob everywhere. DubtownRob everywhere. Facebook, Instagram,
That's
YouTube.
DubtownRob.
Yeah, it's DubtownRob.
DubtownRob.
Yeah, DubtownRob. Yeah, it's all one word. I'll put it together. A lot of people like to space it out, but I keep it all together. You know what I mean? DubtownRob everywhere, man. Go fuck with me. We bringing back Real One Radio. Shout out to G-Dub, God's work, and Real One Media Group. All that good shit, man. You need your records mixed. If you're an artist who's listening to this record and I haven't touched your music yet, tap in with some artists that I have fucked with, and they'll tell you, man, the music speaks for itself.
Yes, sir. We're gonna do before we end the show, we're gonna do a rapid fire question. Okay,
let's go.
All right. What is your most slept on song?
Before I Wake Up.
Before I Wake Up. Yeah. Why is it your most slept on song? Why do you feel that way?
Because I didn't push it out there. I didn't promote it or nothing. It was just kind of, I was in my head. It's just something that I put out there. But I did get some really good feedback on it. From one person in particular. She said that she didn't have any tattoos, or her next tattoo was going to be the lyrics to that record.
Oh, damn.
So that really made an impact.
That's a dedicated fan right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, without naming that song, if you had to make somebody a fan of yours and only play one song, what would it be? That's tough. It's a tough one.
Damn, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Think of it as like an intro to, all right, this is the hook of I'm going to pull you into the catalog of DubtownRob. What would that be?
I'd probably say No Smoke.
No Smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
No Smoke.
Okay, why is that?
Just because it's everything encompassed about who I am, right? Mm-hmm. I made it during the rioting that was happening in 2020. And I feel like it just encompasses like what I stand for, what I believe in, who I am. It touches on a lot of different topics. But the most important thing that it touches on is like, we're not going to be stopped. We're not going to be held down.
We're not going to be silenced.
And we're resilient. And I think that's who I am. Right. And so I feel like I'm resilient, and I feel like
that's awesome.
Record. Yeah.
So No Smoke.
Yeah.
All right. What's one song that you wish you could redo? Do you have any that you wish you could redo? And when I say redo, I'll be clear. Like, let's say maybe your vocals developed as you got older, and you're like, man, I didn't deliver that the way I want to when I was younger, or something like that.
Song that I could redo. Shit.
If it's none, it's none.
I took all the older songs off of YouTube. But there's a couple of them floating around. One is called No Stopping Me. Okay. And that was like one that I wish I could redo. Yeah, I wish I could add more to it. And like put more thought into it. But I was just so in a hurry to like get content out with a video. This was like in 2007. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was just like really focused on trying to create content that I didn't put a lot of thought into it. Yeah.
Got you.
So I'd like to redo that. It's not out. You know what I mean? You won't be able to hear it, but if it comes out again, then you'll know why.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And my last question for you. What is some advice that you can give to any artist watching this show? Whether they make slaps or craps, what advice could you give to an artist watching this right now?
Just ownership. I've said it multiple times. You know, it's very important as an artist to own your own shit. Like whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you own it. You know what I mean? And in the figurative sense and the literal sense, right? Make sure you own that shit. You know, get your ASCAP or your BMI in order. You know what I mean? Get your PROs in order. Your royalties are important too. A lot of people are going to sleep on that. You know, when you're sending your music out to, platforms which we won't name, you know what I'm saying? These platforms are monetizing off your music, right?
Get your bread.
And so if you have your shit in order, you have your royalties in order, you could, every time somebody streams your shit, you could get paid instead of the person that owns that channel getting paid.
Yes, sir.
So yeah.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. This has been DubtownRob. Thank you for being on the show.
Appreciate you, bro. Definitely. Yes, sir.